Welcome in, everybody, to some state tournament action in here at the Bulldog Report for maybe one final game with this crew. Ike Bush, Jared Popek, Luke Krumholtz, and Jacob Krumholtz here in the booth, ready to call all the action between Metuchen Bulldogs and Bordentown. Jared Popek, you're in here with me. What are you expecting to see between the girls tonight?
Well, this is a very good matchup we have here. First round of the NJSIAA state tournament, and these are, again, two very competitive teams, so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, it is going to be a fun one, and little fun fact for you, it's a 7 versus 10 matchup. So Metuchen is the 7 seed and Bordentown is the 10 seed, and if you're looking at the March Madness statistics, the 10 seed more often than not beats the 7 seed, so it's never a gimme when you're playing teams of these levels. A good team on both sides. It should be a fun one. Two very even teams in today's game. I said tonight before, realized that it's a 5 o'clock start, earlier than usual, and it's not quite as dark anymore as we're getting towards the spring. There's a layup chance that goes no good as the Bulldogs pull down the rebound. I might have to leave at halftime. It could be earlier than that. I have to film for the boys in their final game, also a States game in Rumson Fairhaven, so bear with me. I think I'll be here for the first half, and there you see a nice bucket by the girls, and Josie Gray gets her first points of the game, and they're up to a 4-0 start.
So far, there's really nothing to complain about here for the Bulldogs. They've had 2 possessions on offense, gotten 4 points out of it, and so far, no points allowed.
And there's a layup chance that bricks, and it's no good. So the Bulldogs now back on the offense. Luke, you've got a big game here if you're Metuchen. The girls need to win this to move on to the next round. They've got some tough games coming up. If they win, Manasquan, the 2 seed, we'll see if they can win this one. But what do you want to see in Metuchen going into this big home game?
I want to see a lot of basically what we're seeing right now. Just the ability to stop things on defense and the ability to move the ball and get points on offense, which is really all what they've been doing right now, and just like to see more of it.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I mean, obviously up to a really good start and defensively holding their ground as well. There's Pfeiffer in there with good defense, and the next chance is no good. The layup missed and is pulled down by Polakowski, the senior captain. Up 4 with 6 minutes in the first quarter. Here's Pfeiffer. She drives in. That's a shot she might have used to take, Jared, but she instead takes the drive. There's a shot rebounded by Zanecki, and she gets those points on the missed shot by Josie Gray. They capitalize off the layup, and it's 6-0 Metuchen. So a really nice start here, and you have to assume that Lloyd, the head coach, will call a timeout soon for Bordentown as they're just not out to a nice start.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Pfeiffer has normally been a pass-first player. We see her take that shot, I'd say often, but her playmaking ability is so good that she can turn that into points regardless of if she gets that open shot there.
Right. So, and there you go. That's an example of that. She ends up picking up an assist, I guess, on the play. Here's Josie Gray. She drives in right side. Steps in. The ball will be touched off last by a defender. Goes out of bounds in favor of Bordentown. Again, last touched, actually, I guess, off of an offensive player. Looked like it last hit Maddie Wiley, but it didn't. So Wiley and the crew are going to be sent on offense with a chance to put up consecutive points. And a quick steal by Caitlin Connors, who's been excellent at that this season. She gets the layup, not good. Just barely missed it, but a good defensive steal regardless by Connors, who, Jared, has been really good defensively. We've seen, it feels like, every game, her getting steals and fast breaks, it feels like all year.
Well, she leads the team by almost 50 here in the steals category. She has 81 steals on the year. That's going to be really important today. The transition game is going to be something that we're going to watch because Metuchen has been good on defense. Let's see if they can get those turnovers and turn it into points.
So we see our first foul of the game. It's going to be against Wiley, and to the line for 2 shots is Josie Gray. Getting ready to sub in is Lucy Pallotta, probably in for a point guard because Pallotta is more of the ball handling like kind of field general that you'd want.
Well, we've seen Lucy Pallotta a little bit more recently. Vicky Zanecki was out with an illness these past couple games, and Lucy Pallotta was filling in for her. So a little downsize for the lineup, but it's been working. So.
And Gray splits the pair from the line and jogs off as she hits 1 of 2, and the Bulldogs are up to a 5-point lead they extend.
So it looks like today their rotation is going to stay with Zanecki in for Pallotta. Let's see how, the size changes here.
Now Zanecki's out there. Gray, is that what you meant? Gray got subbed out there. It's Zanecki still out there.
Okay, yeah.
So she's with Pallotta, but I could see that happening too at some point. I think maybe they obviously a main focus of Kathy Glutz is to keep it.
Yeah.
To keep rotating their offense, and they have obviously the crew to do that. A deep bench, as we've said all year, and even with the boys, we've mentioned that multiple times. But I think it's very obvious that Coach Glutz is just given some rests, and we could see a big rotate, a lot of rotating between the players tonight in their core. So the shots go in from the line. It's 7-4. Bulldogs and Bordentown up to a pretty fast start, each scoring 11 or totaling at 11 points almost halfway through just the first quarter. Connors floats one up, couldn't get it to be, couldn't catch it, was Polakowski in a fast break. Bordentown had slipped it up. It goes off of, last touched off of Kate Wade, and it's going to be inbounded for Bordentown on the baseline.
And like you said, this is a very high-scoring match so far. Metuchen can play very high-scoring. We've seen it already this year. And a pair of fouls both sides, so you're getting points there. But regardless, it's good for Metuchen because they have a very high-octane offense. They have pretty good defense as well. So let's see how this can benefit Metuchen, this high scoring, and if it's going to actually keep up, because sometimes we do see it slow down after the first, burst, couple minutes.
Yeah, Luke, like I said, this is no gimme. Just because they're the higher seed, right, the 7 seed, they go into this with a better record. That doesn't mean really anything at this point. It's great. It gets you here. Now that record goes out of the window. You have some games to win, a lot of them, and against good teams regardless, right? So it's going to be, regardless of your record and how you perform this season, you have to lock down, right, Luke? And you've got a tough team in Bordentown, as you're seeing here in a 1-point game.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times you'll see a matchup like this, and you might want to just go ahead and give it to the better seed, but you've got to play like you're playing the 1 seed in this. I think their rankings in this bracket are in some ways too close to be saying this is an easy matchup for them.
Yeah.
It's a fight. It's a fight to the end, and they're gonna have to play with wholeheartedly to get this.
Right. If you get a 7 versus 10 seed, that's always the case.
Yeah.
And I had mentioned with March Madness, it's almost like, I mean, statistically, the 10 seeds win more often. And when you're picking your bracket, sometimes it's fun to pick a 10 because sometimes they're favored. So, I mean, this is, again, it's different in March for college basketball versus girls, high school level, but it's also not that different because it's the same sport and you still see upsets. So, on paper, this is a favor for Metuchen, but it's going to be a tough one again.
And this is a favor in Metuchen, but if you're also just looking at record, Bordentown right now is 20-4. They've only lost 4 games so far. They're 8-2 in their division, the BCSL Freedom Division. So definitely a tough matchup regardless of the team you're up against on paper.
And there's a layup that gets Bordentown their first points, and their first lead of this game. And Bordentown with a little bit of burst of energy in the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 minutes as they've been able to capitalize off of a slower continuation of Metuchen's first quarter. Metuchen, again, got out to a hot start, scored 4 points within the first minute, and since then they've slowed down a little bit, being outscored 8-3 since that mark. And now Bordentown with the ball in the lead for the first time in 3:20 to go in the first quarter. Bulldog look right now, Zanecki, Connors, Pfeiffer, and then finalized by Polakowski and Pallotta. There's a chance for Zanecki, and as she has all season, she gets the points in the paint, and the Bulldogs reclaim that lead.
So like I said, that transition game is going to be very important because something I noticed already is the Scotties of Bordentown, they like to not necessarily press. They'll let you get into the offensive zone, but they'll pressure the arc really, really big here. And it's tough to get it around the arc so far for Metuchen. So these deep passes, these cuts that Metuchen is making is able to pierce that defense, and that's how they've been able to score so far.
I really like that play from Zanecki there. She shot it over a defender who she out-heighted. She's taller than her, and in the paint she gets those points to go over a defender, Lily Nucera, and 55 points this season for Nucera. She's not in the starting lineup, but she's certainly good off the bench, and you saw those points come from Zanecki, who just seemed to want it more. And those are important points as they turn the tide, seems, as Metuchen sent to the line now with Josie Gray at the stripe.
And this is Josie Gray's second time already at the stripe. She has 3 of the 9 Bulldog points so far, so we've seen her come into almost a big role here in this game, and that's going to transition into next year as well.
There's a first free throw. Got a little bit of lucky bounce there, and first one's able to go. There's Leah Honig checking in, and the last time we were calling one of the girls' games, Leah came in and made a strong impact off the bench in one of her first games back as Gray splashes both from the line. She's now 3 for 4 from the stripe, 75%. You really can't complain from high school level. Three-point game. Almost a steal attempt by Metuchen. 2:20 still running on the clock. Top of the key now with it. It's Lauren Kelly. Kelly looks at her options, kicks right. Floated upstairs. Gray on defense swats it away in a clean play, and Gray's able to get it to Connors, who now has it on the offense. Good job by that Metuchen defense as they're able to hold stout and now make some points of it as they get it to the always favorable Vicky Zanecki, who puts the points in. Or should I say, yeah, that was Vicky Zanecki. I was second guessing myself. But Zanecki with the points, and the Bulldogs will go into this timeout called by Bordentown with a little bit of momentum.
And like you said, Vicky Zanecki has been the constant this entire year. 311 points in just her sophomore year, 193 rebounds just thus far, and she's been out a couple games as well. So, I mean, that's insane for a sophomore year as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll step aside for now as the Bulldogs and Bordentown will stop and talk things over with the timeout, and we'll see you in just a few. Back in action here. Scotty's with the ball on offense. Now with it, the Scotties, who I didn't know their mascot name until just a few because I just didn't know what it was. A Scotty. What is a Scotty? We didn't actually look into that.
I think it's a dog.
It's a dog.
Logo analyst on this?
Yeah, get the logo analyst Jacob here, or Tony.
We'll get that answer for you if you're a viewer at home, but for now we'll keep going here with the basketball game in 1:35. I'm very curious. It seems like it's a dog.
Or if
It's a Scottish Terrier.
yeah,
Scottish Terrier.
if you're a Bordentown fan, I guess you could, if there's a story about why they're the Scotties, you could let us know.
There's a three-pointer from Pfeiffer, and she gets it to go. That's a huge three-pointer for the Bulldogs. Again, the momentum that they went into that timeout with definitely plays a little bit of a ripple effect going into the next whistle, and they're able to get the three-pointer to go. 16-8, Metuchen's up. They were trailing 8-7 at one point. That's got to be a travel, and it is.
That's their second travel in a row, too.
Well, if you don't know, you can't walk with the basketball in your hands. You have to bounce it in order to be able to move. And Metuchen with 1:03 in the first quarter leads 16-8. Here's an inbound from Vicky Zanecki. Looks at her options. Her options right now, Pfeiffer, Connors, Gray, and Honig.
Well, so far, Bordentown had a 5-point run. Metuchen's now matched that with a 7-point run of their own. So they're back in the driver's seat here.
9-point run.
9-point, yeah.
Because it was 8-7.
Right.
That ball goes out of bounds. I think they're going to say it was last touched off of a white shirt. and that's what the call is. Ooh, no,
No.
it's not. They're pointing the other
Interesting.
way, so it's 50.6 seconds to go in this first quarter. And Bordentown's basketball, they need some points here. Try to keep this one digit. It is obviously going to be one digit if they don't score, but they want to make this as close as possible, and that's going to help a whole lot. Three-pointer nailed by Brooklyn Prester. Prester, 142 points on the season. She's been excellent, the sophomore, with the three-pointer, and it's a 5-point game. Pfeiffer goes around town all the way over to Gray, and Gray goes up but can't get the layup to go. Intercepted by Sam Pfeiffer. Nice play to track that down. She's guarded by Prester. She moves right. 15 seconds left. Zanecki back outside the three-point line, and she kicks to the point guard, Connors. 8 seconds left. You have to expect probably a Pfeiffer or Connors three-pointer here with the final seconds remaining. They go with Pfeiffer, and she hits it off the backboard. No good. 5-point game at the end of the first quarter. Luke Krumholtz in here just going to talk about what he thinks Metuchen has done well, what they should improve upon as they head into these final three quarters.
I'd say that Metuchen has done a great job with just finding their shots, taking them, and scoring points. They've been a great presence on defense. I feel like they've allowed too much of a swing for the other team with some of allowing their points, but that's just sometimes how these games work. A lot of flow back and forth, but hopefully the Bulldogs can take advantage of the opportunities they're given and come away with a win.
Absolutely. We'll step aside for now. Like we said before, 16-11, Bulldogs up in the lead, looking good into the second quarter. We're back in action here after the first quarter came to an end, and Bordentown not able to get any more points on that drive. Bulldogs fighting for it. It's going to be a jump ball, I think is the call with the striped shirt, and that's exactly what it is. Actually, it's going to be a foul, they'll say. It looked more like there was no contact there. But that's going to be a foul. The second for Lauren Kelly, also a sophomore, 10 points on the season for her. At least 10 recorded points. Again, Jared notes sometimes NJ.com isn't always the best at updating the score sheet, or I guess the people that plug it into NJ.com.
Yeah.
And there's a three-pointer by Pfeiffer who can't get it to go. She's 0 for 2 from outside. There's a layup chance. Oh, somehow a toilet bowl's out. Gray pulls it down, then loses it pretty quickly afterwards. Pfeiffer scoops it up, tosses upwards to Zanecki, who's now into the paint, and she pivots. No good on the layup. And now headed back the other way is the call.
And like you were saying,
Say-
the stats
Yeah.
for Bordentown, they don't record very well. Coach Glutz and the managers there, I think Sophie Cohn and Caitlin Oakes, right, record nearly perfect stats. So we can reference these stats all year for Metuchen, and we know they're going to be pretty accurate. So we know our stats are pretty good, but Bordentown's we just don't have that many stats.
Right, but you could also sometimes take it and sort of see with what you have, and make assumptions based off the type of player you might see, based even with a sample size. And in this case, there's a couple high scorers. Even if the points are limited, this is a high scoring team regardless.
Yeah.
Because we have a couple over 100 and one into 300, and that would be Maddie Wiley, who I mentioned a couple times before, the junior. So sure, they might not be great about updating their stats. We actually only have 2 categories filled in, or 1.5. I wouldn't even give it 2, but yeah, I mean it's been excellent for, at least offensively, for this squad. Only team that's really had anyone come close to scoring Vicky Zanecki's numbers this season. There's a three-pointer that's no good from Connors, and with 6.5 to go here in the second quarter, it's 16-11. Metuchen still holding a slight lead. Last touched, I think they're going to say, off of number 30, Brooklyn Prester. And Metuchen capitalizes off of sloppy offense from Bordentown. Jared, has been a little bit sloppy on the offensive side for Bordentown, or whatever you want to call them with the Scotties or whatever. But Bordentown has definitely struggled offensively. I don't think they've actually played that badly against as a defensive unit, considering Metuchen has a great offense and the three-pointer isn't good, pulled down by the defense. But I just don't think their offense has gotten into full effect yet.
I don't really think it has yet. They've come away with a couple three-pointers already of their own, but they've also had, I think it was 2 travels, a couple fouls, offensive fouls, and a couple times where it got stolen from them. Kaylin Connors came away with a steal early, and Coach Glett's already mixing up her lineup a little bit into the second quarter here. Now, I guess we're taking out Vicky Zanecki here. We're subbing in Sammy Powers. But yeah, no, it's been a little bit sloppy for the Scotties, which comes to Metuchen's benefit. We'll see what they can do to take advantage of that.
Luke, do you get the sense that this is a struggling offense, or just a struggling offense that might click, or is this just a not as good offense in general?
I feel
Bordentown, I'm referring to.
I feel like maybe they could get it going sometimes. I feel like in many cases we don't see their full season, so we don't know what it looks like when they're
right. Just off
hot.
Assumptions.
I just say that the Metuchen defense is doing a great job of holding them, and that's the big factor in this.
I think I completely agree with that. Just I think it's part of the idea is that it seems like they're running a zone defense. Correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like it's been more of a zone, and they haven't done that much this year. I think it's been mostly man, from what I remember. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, or in the comments. But it just seems like it's a different look defensively, and they might have just had time to prepare for Bordentown, read up on them, and watch some film. Obviously, that's always effective sports-wise, and when you have time to prepare for a team, you come in with your best set, and that's what has absolutely, I feel like, has happened for Metuchen. They're in this because it's these are 2 evenly matched teams, but it does feel like they're outplaying Bordentown as of now. There's a three-pointer, and knock on wood, obviously everything's subject to change, and a lot of time left to do so. Over 21 and a half minutes of game time left in this one, so lots of stuff will change. And we saw Bordentown's ability to flip the script early in the first quarter when they went on a little bit of a run. So it's a very streaky game right now, and we're just kind of monitoring it from what we've seen in the first half.
Well, we'll see how it picks up. We have a huge crowd here, actually. Probably, let alone senior night. This is the biggest crowd we've had here for a girls' game. It's
and obviously you might be sitting at home saying, well, there's not that many people here based off of what you're seeing on your screen, but under the camera, there's a lot of people, and we saw it coming in.
The close side bleachers are pretty much full to capacity.
That's usually actually the case. Not quite full, but there's usually more people, so we always wish we could have a huddle camera on the other side that could show you how many people actually are there, but we promise there are a lot of people here, and you could hear our booth is a little further off of the gym, but we can hear cheering when there's something good happens or all the eventful stuff happens. So the crowd is pretty much rocking right now here at the here at the Metuchen High School. And she traveled, I guess, fell on the ball. That was Pfeiffer. I think she must have been fouled, though.
She had to have been fouled.
You don't just trip like that, especially when you're as athletic as Pfeiffer. But they're going to call that a foul. A travel on Pfeiffer. We'll kick to that in just a second as the replay. Layup, couple tries, and second one is good. So Bordentown hanging in there right now. 16-13, 4:56 in the second quarter. Again, I'm going to have to leave at halftime, so Jared Popek will be taking us the rest of the way. Here's a quick steal now on a fast break. Looking up, and it's good. Steal and score. Beautiful play there by Sierra Knight, who's in the starting lineup, making her first impact offensively, at least with points. And she cuts the lead to 1. 1-point game. It's looking really promising for Bordentown to get back into this game, as I mentioned. And Powers lost the ball interesting that we're seeing Powers right now in the lineup, as it's, obviously she's only really played so much this season in what you might call garbage time because she's an underclassman, and you need that development before you actually get onto the varsity court. She's been excellent when she's been out there, so I'm wondering if head coach Kathy Glutz is making a statement here having her out there, and it's such an important game, such an important moment.
Well, I think she's also mixing up her lineup because you talk about streakiness, right? Bordentown starts with a 5-point run, then the Bulldogs answer with a 9-point run, and now another 7-point run here for the Scotties. So it's been very streaky both ways.
Yep, still going to hold at 7 as the second free throw doesn't fall either. So both free throws are no good for the Scotties. And here's Pfeiffer, who moves to her left. Dishes to Connors. Connors with a couple pivots and a kick into Leah Honig. Honig past Gray. Gray couldn't get it, and it's going to be called a travel. To be honest, I saw a couple travels on that play, maybe by Gray as well, or Honig even beforehand, but they're going to give it to Metuchen, so the ref helps out Metuchen, I guess, there, and Metuchen has the ball with 3:55.
There's been a lot of travels so far.
I think so. I've noticed that more than usual. Here's Connors, who moves towards baseline. Caitlin Connors' ball goes out of bounds. So I know this is more of a topic that I might bring up next, at the end of the quarter or at the end of the half. But again, I have to leave at halftime. So I just have a couple questions I want to hear your inputs on. Luke, I'll start with you. Very interested to know, because this, again, will be your job next year. One of the announcers next year. We're still up in the air of who else will be taking this over with you, but there's one thing for sure. If you want to keep this going, you're definitely talented enough, obviously, to take this over and start to announce all these games as well. I have had the honor to do it the last 4 years or 3 years, and it's been awesome. But you will be taking this over next year, and this is not. This team, this girls team, is not going anywhere. Their talent is still so. It's definitely. Definitely there. And you have a couple seniors you're losing, and that always hurts. 3 leaders on your team between Pfeiffer, Rodriguez, and Polakowski. But in reality, a lot of the core of this team are juniors, sophomores, freshmen. That's just the reality. And this team will build off of that with developing freshmen, sophomores, and juniors who will be seniors. Makes a big difference too. So what are you seeing next year for this girls team, which is sure to improve?
This team is... I mean, you're going to see all of these underclassmen get better as the years go on. Next year, I think we see just nothing but better play out of these Bulldogs, taking the things they've learned from these senior leaders, applying it to know how to run a team, and just create a really just keep this great program going.
Yeah.
Which is just, it's going to be phenomenal to watch them
right
in the upcoming time.
And they did have a phenomenal season overall. I think Jacob and I will get into a little bit more of that during the Jake Down. So we have all of that information about all of the GMC honors this year. We'll get into that a little bit, and we'll talk a little maybe basketball too.
Definitely
college basketball. But this game right now, very tight. And like I was saying, transition game is going to be very important. It has been so far. All the steals, all of the travels, fouls. It's played a huge role in this game and these runs.
Yep, it's been as streaky as it comes in this game so far. So Bordentown now with a chance to take the lead, which is something you might have thought a couple minutes ago. It's just been unheard of because they were down by so many. But I did say, this team, that they have the ability, and even Luke pointed out that Metuchen was just holding them off. Well, right now they're not holding them off as well, and as a result, Bordentown now has the lead as they hit the second free throw at the stripe. So 17-16. I'm kind of upset that I won't be able to be here for the second half, because this is shaping up to be a pretty good one. Back and forth since the beginning. Those are free points if you can take them, but they missed the layup. That's Pallotta, who obviously all those layups you do not want to end up costing you, and that was pretty much free points. And there's a layup there for Bordentown, and they get their own points. Now have their biggest lead of the night. The previous was just 1 point that they've led by. They're going to call a travel on Josie Gray, so a little bit sloppy offensively for Metuchen in this streaky game and this continuation of what's been a streaky offense as well.
Yeah, well, Metuchen's offense has really gone a little bit cold here. Bordentown has now increased their run to 11, or 12 since it started.
And it's going to be a foul on the defense called by the ref. Looked like a little bit of a reach in there. We might have a bit of a delayed Jake down today just because I'll be leaving. So I just want to say a couple things before I go, but it might be a couple minutes late, maybe 1 minute late, about 30 seconds even. We'll try to keep it concise, but as a senior, this is my last game actually streaming. Assuming Metuchen doesn't end up playing the 15 seed next round, who would have to upset Manasquan, which would be listen, anything's on the table, but that would be pretty. It's not exactly. When you want to relate it back to college basketball, you don't often see that happen. The 15 beat the 2, but hey, anything's on the table. You never know. Here's Metuchen with it. 2.5 minutes to go. Here's Pfeiffer, takes a long jumper, and she can't make it fly. With 2:25 now back on offense is Bordentown. 2:22 in the half. It's been really good for the girls today. An overshot. I think that was only a 2-pointer when she took it, but I guess the ref said something else. Here comes Connors. Connors dribbling in with her left hand, and she's been excellent with the ball in her hands as a point guard, a really good ball controller. And I think that's important, a good passer, and that's what you want in your point guard, right? So next year she'll be taking over, continuing to take over, because even in her freshman year she was a starter, but continuing to be the Bulldogs point guard. And I think lineup-wise, you have so much talent. You probably have Zanecki. I should say definitely have Zanecki in that starting lineup. You have Gray, who will be a senior.
Caitlin Connors.
I mentioned her.
Will be a senior.
Yeah, it's right. Caitlin Connors will also be a senior. She's already a captain. You'd have to assume Josie Gray will be a captain next year. And then a couple other really important names like Pallotta. Maybe she'll pan out as a starter next year. And
Barish
and Honig. I mean, you've got so much on your team, so much talent. And even Powers, who they really like. I think she's just a freshman.
I really think this whole lineup, because then you work in Charlotte Murphy, Raven Perez, Van Leeuwen.
Right.
I mean, everyone is available as of now, in my mind, to take that starting role next year.
Right, and we're also forgetting about JV players as of now, the players that you don't see that are better than we think, right? There will definitely be 1 or 2 impact players from the JV roster right now that make it, whether it's starting or just bench, or coming off the bench as a 6th man or sixth girl. That's an important role, right? So I definitely think that the talent there's definitely a lot of talent here, and we said this last year when we took a look at the roster last year and what it will do for this year. I did make the prediction that the girls would be better than they were last year. When we saw, okay, so they're losing Charlotte Breen and they're losing Cassidy Connors. Forgive me, I'm forgetting. Sure, there's. Of course, that was a very good senior class, and I'm forgetting.
Orly Germain, right?
Orly Germain, who was even their top scorer. I can't believe I forgot that. But I said, they're losing all this talent, but they have so much.
Yeah.
And I think, arguably, and while this senior class is amazing, I don't think they were even quite as good stat-wise as last year's senior class, and you're losing even less. And I think the impact that they make next year as a younger crew will be phenomenal.
Well, we were predicting they wouldn't fall off at all. Last year they were 18-9. Right now they're 18-8. So this game is really last year. I think it was South River. I forget. I think it was this game that was the State's game, the South River game at home.
Right, and they fell.
Yeah, where they fell in the very, very last second.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I did that one.
Yeah, one where the foul. Yeah. So, that's where that 18-9 came from. They were 18-8, so they're in the exact same spot. I think
absolutely
they might have the edge this year and with the win.
So 45 seconds to go. I just want to say something. So this is my senior year, my last year, I guess my last stream here, and it's been awesome. I'll admit, I've really, really loved, being able to be able to announce these games. I don't want to make this emotional, but thank you guys. Obviously the crew, Mr. Cathcart, all of you guys. My last time doing these games, and I'm sure you'll give the little speech at the end, a little spiel of what we're required, I guess, to do from the district just to sign off officially. But it's been a really good year, and I've really loved having the opportunity to call these games. And as you see Metuchen cutting this lead, there's been a fight within these teams, both boys and girls, and that you really admire. So 40 seconds left in this half. As Metuchen trails by 2. That must have been a kickball. Yeah, it was, as it rolls out of bounds. Scotty's ball. And the ball gets scooped up by Leah Honig, who takes it down the right wing, now moved to her left. Dishes left side, now a jumper from deep, and it's good. This game is, I think that was a 2-pointer. It was a deep 2 from Caitlin Connors, and she nails it to tie this game up with 18 seconds left. Travel again, would you believe it? Travel by the offense. Bordentown's going to lose that one, and it's going to be Metuchen's ball. So they have the chance now to go into this half with the lead. But regardless, battling back, being down a couple beforehand, and now being tied with the ball and 14 seconds left. So here's Leah Honig to Pfeiffer. They're probably going to hold for one last shot. They have a bunch of shooters out there right now, so anyone can do it. Oh, wide open. Connors shot it, and no good. Off the rim, and that will do it for the first half. So excellent half by the Bulldogs for the girls. And they are able to get it back to a tie game for the second half, which we will bring second half action. Well, I shouldn't say we, but there will be second half action for the girls in just a few minutes after the Jakedown presented by Jacob Krumholtz and Jared Popek. But for now, 19-19 is where we stand at the end of the first half. Luke, anything that you observe from this half and want to see in the next half?
Just a great job of fighting it back to a tie game after they had lost a little bit there. Just looking to have them fight it out and try and take it in this second half.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes in the second half. Jakedown coming your way in just a few. Thank you again to everybody. Mr. Cathcart giving me the opportunity, the district, and I'm Coach Glutz and everyone for giving me the opportunity to call these games the last 3 years. It's been an honor. It's been super fun. We'll get back to basketball talk in just a few moments with the Jakedown. Jared Popek and Jacob Krumholtz will talk some basketball and talk this season, which has been excellent. So for now, signing off, Ike Bush, and we will see you next time.
Good. Oh, stop. Welcome back to the Jakedown. I'm Jacob Krumholtz, and I'm joined today by Jared Popek. What a first half, first of all. Also, we'll get into it a little bit later, some boys basketball action. What a first half.
That was a really good first half by Metuchen, and like we said, very streaky, right?
Yes, very 100%. Started really, really strong. Got a little cold. Some turnover challenges that we've seen. When this girls' team has struggled a little bit, they seem to struggle with the turnovers, and that's what we saw a little bit, especially in that first quarter. They kind of figured it out, found their footing. It kind of slipped again. It's kind of up and down, a little roller coaster ride. But finished the first half tied. That's not bad.
So that roller coaster ride, right? So Bordentown, we started with a 7-3 lead.
Yes.
And then Bordentown went ahead with a 5-point run. Then Metuchen answered back, 9-point run. Now Bordentown answers back, 11-point run. So far it's just been back and forth. And Metuchen just there battled right back and tied at 19-19. I think that's very important heading into halftime.
No, that momentum, they talk about that a lot. Everybody talks about it. Game really could be tossed up. 7-10 game we were talking about a little bit earlier. In March Madness, we know that more 10 seeds beat more 7 seeds than 7 seeds beat 10 seeds. In these things, it's a pretty even match. And we talked about Bordentown, the Scotties record, which is phenomenal. Really, they've had an incredible season, 20-4.
20-4.
So, when you talk about this, is a really even matchup. To have that momentum swing, go in your favor, end of the quarter, end the half on a tie, and with a really nice shooting, some really good trending in the offense, that's big.
Yeah, that is huge. And just, of course, looking at this bracket, Metuchen right now playing Bordentown 7 versus 10, like we said, Metuchen being a 7 seed. They're going to go ahead and play the 15 versus the 2. So we are obviously predicting that Manasquan, the number 2 seed, will come out of that. That is... You have to handle business here, but that is an extremely tough game on the road.
And it's a tough game anywhere you play. It's even harder at home or away. I guess for Metuchen away, it's easier for Manasquan at home, obviously. But that's gonna be. That's the big thing. You really. If you can't deliver today, you're not gonna be able to deliver down the road, right? So really, you have to show up today. If you're Metuchen, you really want to see you expand further because you're gonna have to bring your best basketball next week.
And honestly, just right now, you have to put the blinders on and sort of just chug ahead.
Oh, exactly.
Right now.
You can't think ahead. It's exactly like the game of golf. I'm a golfer.
Yeah.
So some of you may be able to relate, but you can't think about the last shot. You have to think about
right.
You have to think about the shot you're hitting. You can't think about the next one. You can't think about the last one. You have to think about the shot you're hitting right now. You got to think about this game right now. Can't get ahead. Can't get upset by the fact that you're tied at the half. You have to come out and play your best half of basketball. And, that's something we saw this Metuchen team struggle with, especially the boys. They came out really strong in some of their games in the half. And then, kind of slowed down, didn't have it in that second half. We saw that in the Timothy Christian game.
Yep.
But the girls just have to come out, right foot, just strong, establish that game again, establish that presence down low with Vicky Zanecki. Really impressive player. Find the open person. You're breaking that Bordentown press. That press has been impressive. It's forced some turnovers that you just don't want to see.
Yeah, they've done this pretty much the whole season, and this is going to be something that you're going to have to continue in the second half. But overall, like we were saying, for really both the boys and the girls, it has been a great season.
Oh, for sure. This has been an exciting season to cover for everybody here in the media club. We've been lucky enough to follow along with both these teams. What's one thing that's impressed you the most about this Metuchen girls team?
Honestly, it's their young talent, because next year we're already looking and we're saying that they're going to have a loaded roster.
Oh, 100%.
Right now they have so many starters that are even younger, and speaking of this young talent, GMC Honors have just come out, and all of these young players, like we were saying. So Vicky Zanecki, all GMC Blue winner. Caitlin Connors, all GMC Blue. Sam Pfeiffer, GMC Blue Division 2nd team, and Josie Gray, GMC Blue Division 2nd team. That's 4 starters with GMC Blue honors.
Oh, and it's really special. Vicky Zanecki deserves it, 100%. One of the best players in the GMC. You follow that up with Caitlin Connors.
Yeah.
Really, 2 special players, both not seniors. Junior Caitlin Connors, sophomore Vicky Zanecki, which is the most impressive thing I think we have. I don't want to put pressure on it. I've mentioned this earlier in the season. 1,000 points is going to be very doable.
It could be close. And who is at the helm of this very young core? Coach Glutz, right?
Yes.
Coach Glutz, GMC Blue Division Coach of the Year.
Oh, well deserved as always. She got her 200th win. Yes, this year.
Win.
So incredibly impressive stuff. Probably the best to ever do it at Metuchen High School, leading the squad. Expect a lot. This girls' team is really special. Make sure to tune in. And, for those who, maybe dismiss it, they don't want to watch the girls' basketball team. That's terrible. Stop thinking like that. This is the best program. This is one of the best girls basketball programs in the state. This is really impressive stuff. Next year, expect more. This year's already been good.
And one of the best programs, in the school.
Oh,
So,
for sure, definitely.
And other programs I just have noted down here. Ben Santis for boys basketball got all GMC blue, and Joe Fenton for boys hockey
Yes.
got all GMC conference.
So congrats to all our Metuchen players with all conference, all division honors.
Yeah.
Really impressive stuff from some of the great players across the board. And this boys basketball team, I'm going to say this, Jason Woods got robbed
Yeah.
not being a first team
Yeah.
selection
Yeah.
with Ben Santis. So Ben Santis is a great player. Both of them had a phenomenal season. GMC do better because Jason Woods deserved to be an all blue division player, first team.
I mean, we were looking at their stats the whole year. They were back and
Oh,
forth.
exactly. I think Jason might have ended up with more points
Maybe,
than
yeah.
Ben Santis as a junior. So really impressive stuff. Anything coming up for the boys?
The boys right now actually are
Yes.
about to play. What is it? Rumson Fairhaven.
Yes.
They're playing Rumson Fairhaven away in their state's game. Visiting them is definitely not
One
easy.
of the, it's kind of a rite of passage for this basketball team. Every year they go into Rumson Fairhaven. Every year it's a tough battle. One of the best sports programs in the entire state. Rumson Fairhaven, incredible at pretty much everything they do. Soccer,
Yeah.
basketball, boys basketball especially.
We've looked at. I was actually asking Ben Santis at lunch, and we were saying, how do they match up to some teams that we know?
Yeah.
And he said they're like a Timothy Christian, but so much more balanced. He said they have 5 guys that can all get 10 to 15
Yeah.
points each, whereas Timothy Christian is more like they're 3 guys that can average 25. He said this is a very balanced team. It's a very tough team, and if they play it perfectly, they could get the upset here today, but we'll find that out later.
Exactly. So they're going to need to play their best basketball, just like this girls' team in the second half. It should be exciting to watch. Make sure to tune in, watch the second half. We're excited to bring it back to you. This is the last Jake Down of the season. It's been a blast. It's really been kind of a wild ride. I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in, for all the support. It's meant a ton.
Yep.
Being able to do this my senior year, coming in a little new, it's been just an incredible ride. Hopefully, it makes a little impact. We'll have somebody in here next year doing a little halftime report. But it's been a blast. That's going to do it for the Jake Down for this year. A little emotional ending, but that's going to do it for the Jake Down. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your night.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
All right, you good? All right, welcome back. Covering some second half action. Jared Popek, myself, now as the play-by-play announcer. My color guy Luke Krumholz and Jacob Krumholz, both inside the booth. Coming in from the other room, me and Jacob doing our last Jake Down of the year, unfortunately, and this is probably going to be our last broadcast. Jacob and I and Ike, all seniors, but first we have what we've seen all day. Josie Gray at the foul line, taking some foul shots. She's had a lot of points so far. I think she has 7 or 8 of these Bulldogs 20 points. So this is something that is very good if you're looking into the future for Metuchen. But right now, like Jacob and I were saying, you just have to put the blinders on and focus on this game at hand. Taking the lead right outside the locker room at halftime is definitely good. And back with possession here, Vicky Zanecki got that rebound. Now over to Sam Pfeiffer in the corner. Back up top to Caitlin Connors. Over to Gray. Gray goes in. Up, no good. And that one will go back in the direction of the Scotties. And the Scotties drain a three-pointer to quash that lead. That was Brooklyn Prester. We've called her name a lot. Again, 150 points on the year. She's really the second point scorer. Vicky Zanecki down low goes up, catches her own rebound, goes back and is getting almost mauled at this point. Sam Pfeiffer back around, back down to Vicky Zanecki, and she'll get this one. No, she will not, but she'll get a foul out of it finally. It looked like she got mauled on that last one. It looked like that could have been a foul, but she'll get the foul anyway, and she'll go to the charity stripe for 2. And the visitors already have 2 fouls in this half. only a minute and 20 seconds in.
Oh, I expect a lot of Vicky Zanecki in this half. Coach Glutz is going to utilize her best player on offense, the whole entire rest of this half. So a lot of those touches, and we've seen her down low a lot tonight. A lot of plays in the paint, lots of layups. She does have a little bit of a size advantage over who's guarding her from the Scotties, and it's been very, very helpful. Should be really good, and just expect a lot out of her.
A little fight under the rim for the ball will go as a jump ball in the direction of Bordentown, so Metuchen will settle back on defense, now finding themselves down 1 after those foul shots. Bordentown around the arc. Josie Gray applying some pressure, and it looks like there's gonna be a timeout called there by Bordentown. I think that's a very good timeout. But Luke, looking at how the Bulldogs have come out of this half so far, really only this first minute and a half, it looks like they could take this jump here. But do you think that they really need a burst to get it going?
I feel that I feel like they can get a burst, and I see them getting one pretty easily as long as they can lock in on this defense and cause some more steals.
Wow,
that
deep 3
from Grove Ave. That was
the famous call from Grove Ave. That was Natalie Crowell with the 3-pointer there. That was a deep 3. Sorry to cut you off, and we had some tech issues there too, but
that's her second of this quarter, and just almost unlimited range. It feels like just deep.
And we see that a little bit when the boys play South River.
Oh,
I feel like
Alex Grosby.
Yeah, we'll get all the Grosby triplets to, or not triplets, two twins and a cousin, I believe it is.
Yes.
Yeah, so they'll just knock down a 3 and kill your momentum. I don't think Metuchen's momentum is killed necessarily, but they came out of the locker room with a lead, and they went on a 6-point run. Now Josie Gray is answering back a little bit, and how many times has she been at the stripe? It's almost hard to count now.
And she's shooting phenomenal. I would say Coach Cardillo probably wants to sign her up for the boys team. They've been fouled all over the place, and they've been shooting right around 4%. It seems like the boys, some really heartbreaking stuff. But Josie Gray has been incredible.
So Josie Gray will get 2 of the 3 there, and the Scotties will go the other way, up 2 here. So good to answer back to that really deep 3, and another unbalanced 3. This one is Brooklyn Prester. That one will airball, and it'll go into the direction of Metuchen. It looks like out of the locker room, at least, the Scotties are applying some press defense out of this half. We'll see how that helps Metuchen. Like I was saying, some of those deep passes have really helped Metuchen, because now you have an open lane here, like Josie Gray going in, and maybe a foul, maybe not, up and no good. Josie Gray fights back under it, gets it for honor, and she gets the bucket to go. Gets the layup. We'll try and get a replay on that soon, because she was, I believe, 4-on-1 there, and she got the bucket to go.
If there's a will, there's a way. That seemed like she got 2 rebounds on that.
Yep.
3 attempted shots, and just quad teamed makes the basket. Just incredible.
Sam Pfeiffer puts up the 3, too strong. Over to Caitlin Connors, a 3 of her own, and that one's good. Back in the lead are the Bulldogs, 28-25. With that, Caitlin Connors 3, and they answer right back.
These swings are that's just
Yeah.
It's crazy to see. It keeps the game very exciting. It feels like almost anyone can go on a swing at any time, and that's what makes these games fun to watch.
It's almost
exactly.
absurd, right?
It's been weird. It's a weird basketball game. It feels like 1 minute Metuchen's going to rule the world. Metuchen's going all the way. The next minute it feels like Bordentown has this game, and it's just back and forth. Roller coaster of a ride, as we said in the Jake Down.
It's definitely been entertaining thus far, I will say, to call at least.
I'm getting a little motion sickness, I think, from how turbulent this game has been.
We'll cut the replay. You're not missing anything right now, but this is Josie Gray here. or that's the Caitlin Connors 3, I apologize. So now back to live action. Nothing happened there. It was just a missed free throw that you missed there. Mackenzie Morton missed that first free throw, so now she'll get her second here. Very high arc, almost a Cody Cardillo-esque arc, and that one's no good. Yeah, no, but 28-25. I've loved the way that Metuchen's come out of this locker room, and a lot of bursts. Again, we thought maybe the streakiness would subside here, but nothing so far. It's been definitely nothing shy of it. So Metuchen back with the ball, trying to combat this press defense, trying not get any 5-second violations. And Caitlin Connors with a 3. That one's good. Contested 3 this time. Open 3 before, contested 3 this time. She'll get both to go, and that's a 6-point run of her own, not even just for the Bulldogs. And they will go right back into a 5-point lead, starting to build a little bit of a lead here out of the locker room in this second half, with Caitlin Connors at the helm. Sam Pfeiffer taking it up the timeline. Down to Vicky Zanecki, over to Ella Polakowski, and into Josie Gray's hands. A quick steal, Caitlin Connors cleans it back up, and like we've said, the transition game has been huge all day. Caitlin Connors luckily recovering that one. Sam Pfeiffer driving down low, going to Vicky Zanecki. That one's up and good. Emma Metuchen will increase their lead to 7. And a timeout taken by Bordentown. That's a good timeout. That's always one of the timeouts you see where they'll cut to the student section after, and everyone's going crazy because they go on a huge run, and then the coach takes a timeout just to stop the bleeding, right?
No, this has been the most impressive play we've seen out of the Bulldogs probably all year. They look hot. And Caitlin Connors, 2 great threes. Working Josie Gray, Vicky Zanecki. Really, really impressive stuff. They're on fire right now.
They are on fire indeed. If you're just joining us for this second half, Bulldogs are in the lead right now, 33-26. Been a very streaky game, but so far, very good. We'll take a little bit of a short break, and we'll be right back once play resumes. Back in action, a little less than 12 minutes to go here in this NJSIAA first round matchup between Metuchen, the number 7, and Bordentown, the number 10 seed. Caitlin Connors with a steal, a deep pass to Vicky Zanecki, down low to Ella Polakowski. She'll put the layup, and that's good. Metuchen increasing their lead to 9 points now on a very deep pass. Caitlin Connors, Vicky Zanecki, and Ella Polakowski to finish that one off.
This is just phenomenal. We are calling more names than we normally do.
Yeah.
We're calling just incredible plays. And that was interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're calling that. Yeah, okay, yeah. So they're calling that a blocking foul on Bordentown. Vicky Zanecki, once again, a very deep pass to Vicky Zanecki. They're finding what's working here in this transition game, and Vicky Zanecki uses it to her advantage, draws the foul there. She'll go to the line for 2, up 9 now, and still up 9 after the missed first free throw.
I just like to say, you can really tell they want it.
Yeah.
They want this game. You can see it in the second half play. You can see that they've also realized that this game takes a strong fight.
And Metuchen garners its first double-digit lead of the day. It seems like Ike was a little bit of our curse here, no offense to him, but they've definitely stormed in front after Ike has left. Not that there's any correlation between the two, but yeah, no, Ava Barish is now in, I believe seeing her first minutes of the game. But yeah, we've said a lot of names today, definitely very good, and you said they wanted more, but we need to if you're a Bulldog, you need to maintain this pressure because you can't let Bordentown back into this game if you're going to try and win. Because once again, this is a state's game. It's anything can happen in these last 10, 12 minutes. Prester goes inside. That one's no good. And it will go back into the direction of Metuchen. So Metuchen back with the ball, and they've had a little bit of trouble inbounding it once they get the ball in a situation like this. They've tried to drop a little play to get out of this press defense, but it always is that one pass that can just break it. And they're going to call a mystery travel there on Josie Gray. Maybe a legitimate travel. I couldn't really tell, but yeah, a lot of travels today. I don't know what it is. Inbounding back in, a new face, Lily Nucera for Bordentown. No good for Wiley, and Metuchen will take it the other way. Caitlin Connors dribbling it up herself. The shot herself, coast to coast, that one's no good, but they're going to call a foul on the defense. So that's another blocking foul for the defense, and now, officially, Metuchen is in the bonus. 5 fouls for Bordentown, and Caitlin Connors will go to the line for 2.
That's a foul you can't have. You can't reach bonus in the third quarter, especially in the second half with a tie game. That gives an advantage to the Bulldogs.
And yeah, I don't know if you can necessarily draw the correlation to Bordentown's fouling and Metuchen's burst, but we also had 2 3-pointers in there from Caitlin Connors and, you know, Ella Polakowski, Vicky Zanecki both getting a pair. So it's definitely been a burst of energy so far for the Bulldogs, and being in the bonus certainly helps them now.
We might not be able to put full correlation between the points and the fouls, but there's certainly a correlation between Metuchen pressure and these fouls, and then the fouls just certainly help in scoring more points and delivering more pressure. That's what keeps the cycle going, and that's what gets the Bulldogs into good situations.
So 2 Bulldog possessions, 2 fouls on Caitlin Connors, and that one's no good, the first one. And now, if I might mention, Maddie Wiley, their leading point scorer by almost 200, might I add. 317 points for her. She just had her 4th foul. So now she is in deep foul trouble. Caitlin Connors will sink the second and increase this lead to 9. But, yeah, no, your star player right now is in deep foul trouble. 4 fouls, 1 foul from fouling out.
No, you know, if you're going to win these games, your best players have to be on the court. And, you know, that's pressure that's just unneeded.
I'm very confused at that call, probably because we couldn't see it. Our huddle camera couldn't even catch up to the speed of that steal by Sam Pfeiffer. I have no idea what that call was. I thought she got hit a little bit going up for the basket, but they're just going to call it out of bounds on her.
Looked like a foul. Let it go here. As there's a great pressure from this Bulldogs team. Really good defensive work. And, you know, Coach Glutz always boasts one of the best defenses in the GMC. She's definitely showing she's definitely showing her schemes off here tonight, really working well.
They seem fluid. They seem like a strong team right now that can get steals, they can get passes in, they can get opportunities, and they can get points. This is amazing basketball that we're seeing from this girls team.
It certainly is, and while you were talking, I'm not sure really what happened, but I think the umpire took Caitlin Connors out of the game and asked her to sub out. She might have had maybe blood or something, because that's the only thing I'm really thinking of right now, why the refs would send her to the bench. But yeah, so Caitlin Connors out, Sam Pfeiffer right back in, and that will go for Corinne Arnold.
Hope everything's okay there with Caitlin Connors. You know, great. One of the hottest players on the team right now. 2 threes. You know, that's the momentum here on this Metuchen squad.
The reverse layup for Vicky Zanecki, no good. Ava Barish was fighting that one down. Leah Honig right back with the ball, over to Sam Pfeiffer at the top. Back to Vicky Zanecki, now seconds left in this third quarter. Sam Pfeiffer back over to Honig. And Honig apparently traveled.
That's the most travels I think I've ever seen called.
Yeah, this is a lot of travels that we've seen so far. Bordentown will take it back, and now Metuchen matching with some press defense of their own. And can they get across the line in time? They will. Bordentown will settle it back in their own zone. A three-pointer is no good. And Leah Honig will collect the steal, give it back to Sam Pfeiffer. Vicky Zanecki looking for that long pass. She gets it. Leah Honig over to Caitlin Connors, thinking about the three, but didn't take it. And another travel on Caitlin Connors.
I don't entirely see where they're seeing these travels.
This ref squad seems to be very sensitive on any jab steps before
Yeah.
a dribble.
Yep.
The second the ball is passed, they're not allowing any sort of jab step, which
This is
I
the
don't think I've ever
this is the
seen-
replay here on Caitlin Connors.
no, they just do not.
I don't know. Back to live action here. I'm not sure if that was a travel or not. So some of these have been questionable. Bordentown gets 2 of their own and cuts the lead to 5. So watching the score here, they're cutting a little bit into this Bulldog lead. It was double digits at one point. Now it's back to 5. 13, 12, 11 left in this third quarter. Looking for probably a buzzer beater. Sam Pfeiffer puts up the shot. That one's too strong. Bordentown will collect it. 3, 2, 1 second left, and they'll get the shot off, but it'll airball. So 37-32, end of the third quarter. Luke, what have you liked so far, and what do you hope to see, at least in this fourth quarter?
We've seen a good burst for the Bulldogs. They need to keep this pressure on. They need to keep scoring. They need to keep doing everything they've been doing, and everything they've been doing well. I hope that we don't have to keep making these. We don't have to keep questioning these calls by the
Yeah.
refs, and I just hope everything works out.
Yeah.
For a way that they can keep putting more pressure on and keep scoring.
And honestly, if you're watching this live or if you're watching this video back, the refs right now are a part of the game. I'm not questioning really any of their calls. They're a part of the game as much as any of the players or coaches or anybody. So right now, you kind of just have to take everything in stride, take everything they give you, and the Bulldogs kind of just have to play simple basketball right now. It's very tough for them so far, but walking back onto the court right now, you have Pfeiffer, Connors, Gray, Polakowski, and Zanecki. That will be your 5 for the start of the fourth quarter. So there have been a lot of travel calls. I think you just have to play that version of the game. You have to be careful with the way you're stepping and take advantage of it. So now a foul on Josie Gray, and once again, she will go back to the line for 2. No bonus anymore. Start of the fourth quarter, only 8 seconds in, but Josie Gray will go to the line. And she sinks the first one. But as Jacob and I were saying, so a lot of GMC honors on this team. Right now you have at the line Josie Gray, who's GMC Blue second team. You have Vicky Zanecki, who's all GMC Blue division. Caitlin Connors, all GMC Blue Division, and Sam Pfeiffer right now, GMC Blue Division second team. You have 4 of your 5 players in the lineup right now with GMC honors, and your coach is Coach of the Year for the GMC Blue Division. So I guess 5 of your 6 active people right now have GMC honors. Just a credit to how good this team has been.
The arc on that shot there. Gotta start watching out for the netting.
Yeah. Every time we play volleyball, we'll get some volleyballs up there. You can see all the light blue balls sitting on those batting cages. I don't really see this at other schools.
It's one of the strangest things in the Metuchen gym.
That we have batting cage nets
In an already small gym.
Yeah. Well, luckily we have some construction about to happen. That one went out of bounds. It'll go back to Metuchen. But
this might be the last few years of varsity basketball in this gym.
In this gym. So the plan right now is to get I believe it's 1,000 person gymnasium built just down the hall here from us.
Which in some ways is a little bit of a shame. One of the great,
Yeah.
cool things about this this gym is the small size. You can hear everything in it.
Yeah.
A little bit of a shame, but it should be great to see. You know, and could start a Metuchen volleyball program. Too.
Some of the problems with it too is right now you don't have enough court space for the boys and the girls team to practice.
No, yes.
So you'll have one practicing after school, and then you'll have one going home and coming back at 5:30. They've been flip-flopping days all year, tentative to there being a game like there is today. But both teams normally have games on like Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Yeah, but they've had to share this space, and it's been a little bit difficult for them having to go home, maybe do some homework, come back at 5:30, and then try and practice at a night practice. It's been a little bit difficult, but once we get this new gym, we'll have gym classes in here, and then we'll have a whole team facilities. I believe they want to put in like a recovery pool in the trainer's room. They are going all out with these renovations, but who knows how long that will take. That's years down the line. So now
doesn't matter much for us here today.
yeah, it not at least for us seniors, and probably for you too, Luke. I don't know if you're going to see much happening around here, but right now this game is really at the precipice of success for the Bulldogs. Vicky Zanecki gets the layup to go, and she will increase the lead to 9, hitting 40 for the first time. Obviously for the first time. Up to 41-32. Bulldogs are in the lead right now. 6 minutes and 43 seconds left to go. Bulldogs have to hang on to this lead here, and we are obviously big college basketball fans. Anything can happen. 6 minutes and 40 seconds is a lot of time, and they don't call it March Madness for a reason. There's Bordentown with 2 of their own, but
They don't call it February Madness for
it's February Madness. Metuchen's February Madness. Sam Pfeiffer taking it into the paint. Over to Polakowski, up to Zanecki. Back to Pfeiffer. Shot, no good. Back to Polakowski. She's getting mauled under the rim, and she'll definitely get a foul from that. No bonus again, so it'll just be an inbound. That wasn't a shooting foul. And what was the call there?
Phantom calls.
Was I looking down? Did I miss something? Or did you guys see the same thing?
I
I'm not
missed
sure what that call was.
Did not see something there.
Anyway, it will go back in the direction of Bordentown. And they'll settle it around the arc. Offensive foul on Bordentown. Now they're already, again, only 2 minutes into this quarter, up to 3 fouls. And the transition game being very important. We've seen some travels, some ball security at times so far. Metuchen's been probably better with it than Bordentown has, which is probably a little bit of your explanation for this lead. But it's been difficult for them to maintain possession, either side to maintain possession. Sam Pfeiffer down to Josie Gray. That one's no good. Stolen back by Caitlin Connors. Sam Pfeiffer up at the top takes the 3. That one's way too strong. And that one will go right back out of bounds. Like I said, ball security for Bordentown hasn't been as good as Metuchen's, and Metuchen will get the ball right back into their zone. And right now, you are in the driver's seat. Of course, there's no shot clock in high school, so you could hold it for this long, but nobody would do that. I remember seeing a video where a team got like 10 points and then just held the ball the entire game. It was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen, and none of them really pressured the kid. It was so weird, but that obviously won't happen. Caitlin Connors takes the 3. That one's no good, and they'll call it some sort of offensive foul, and that will go back in the direction of Metuchen. Or Bordentown. I feel clueless right now.
It's been weird.
Like, I feel like I'm, as the commentator, am a little clueless as to some of these calls. I'd imagine as the viewer, you're a little more clueless because you're not on the floor, as are we. So Bordentown will collect it right back.
It's another travel for those of you watching at home. I would, here's a homework assignment for anybody watching here today.
Oh, boy.
If you go back in there and just count up all the travels,
That's
I'd really love to see it. I've got a feeling it's over like 11.
That's a hefty assignment, too. Caitlin Connors
Bang.
with the 3, and that one's good. 44-34, back in a 10-point lead. 4 minutes and 32 seconds if you're just joining or maintaining your viewership here, your support. 44 are the Bulldogs, 34 are the Bordentown Scotties. 4 minutes and 22 seconds left now. 2 fouls are the Bulldogs, 3 fouls now are Bordentown, and Josie Gray with 3 fouls of her own. But like I was saying, Maddie Wiley for Bordentown, their star player, 317 points before entering this game, has 4 fouls. So I don't think we've seen a lot of her. I think she's being a lot more careful as to try not to foul out now, because you need to give your team a chance. If you're the leading scorer, especially by almost 200 points, you're averaging, 15 almost a game. You need to stay in this lineup. So I think she's just been very careful and not herself, but she takes it there. Layup is no good. Fighting for it under the rim, that'll be a jump ball to Metuchen in the hands of Polakowski. So our huddle camera panned left there for no reason. Press defense, Metuchen has been better at breaking, but you need to give yourself a chance if you're Bordentown. And a foul there called again on Caitlin Connors. She's been fouled almost as much as Josie Gray here at this point. Both of them have been the victims of many fouls. Caitlin Connors will go to the line for 2, and that's Bordentown's 4th foul, so almost approaching a bonus as well. Caitlin Connors misses the first.
You want to talk about players of the game? Those 2 names are definitely for today. Josie Gray's been phenomenal, first of all night, and then especially from the line. One of the best, I would say, right now, and that's going to...
I think her foot was over the line there. If you're looking at that, I think Caitlin Connors' foot was over the line because she sunk the free throw, but they called it no good. We'll switch to the replay here in just a second.
It is just this ticky-tack.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just...
I don't know. I guess her foot landed over the line, but
just let them play, Jared.
Let the kids play.
Let the kids play.
In the words of Joe Fenton, let the kids play.
Let the kids play. Joey Bats, what a great quote there. All GMC player.
All GMC Conference hockey player this year.
Rightfully.
Just joined the hockey team this year.
Yeah, he's been playing with some other.
He's been playing
elite clubs.
Club hockey.
So one of the best players in the country, really, Joe Fenton. Kind of lucky to have him part of our program. But that's what a great season from him. Watching him on senior night, he just looks like a man among boys, playing hockey out there, playing the puck.
So Wiley takes the foul shot and misses, but we're gonna have some conversation here. And
if you
it's gonna go back to Bordentown.
If you like watching really minor and minute calls, this is the great game for you. You love ticky-tack calls, you don't want to see the game play. This is a great game for you.
Okay, now I feel a little better because I was confused on that one, but so was Coach Glutz. She just talked to the ref there. I was confused on what the call was. They just clarified it. Coach Glutz seemed okay with it, so it was something that we're missing here. Vicky Zanecki with a great steal. Can she retain possession there? They'll
go back
give
to
it a jump ball, and they'll keep it with Metuchen. So Metuchen will gain an offensive possession off of that Vicky Zanecki steal. And they're leading by 8. Less than 4 minutes left in this game now. Time starting to tick down, and pressure starting to mount here if you're a Bordentown fan. Out of bounds, and that's staying with Metuchen, so Zanecki will inbound.
Who would win in a fight, a Bulldog or a Scottish Terrier? I say Bulldog.
I'd have to take a Bulldog, right?
I'm taking a Bulldog.
All day.
Polakowski with the layup while we're talking dogs here. I was confused what a Scottie was until I guess you told me, but yeah, I think a Bulldog has it over a Scottish Terrier.
I think so.
3 there, no good. A couple of bodies laying down on the ground there, and Zanecki will take it the other way. Polakowski down low, and she will be fouled by what might be Madison Wiley. It might not be. I don't think it's Madison Wiley if she's. Yeah, it's not. That's Brooklyn Prester's third foul as well. She is the second leading scorer on this team. So both of your leading scorers are in foul trouble right now. No good is the first foul shot from Polakowski. Second one coming here, and she's going to probably watch her feet on the line, and she gets the second.
Great showing in the second half by the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Standing on business.
It was square 19-19 at the end of the half, right?
This
Yes.
is a lot of scoring.
So how many is that? 26? Good math? No.
28.
Yeah, 28 points there.
Might be their highest scoring half in a while.
Could be. That's a very high scoring half. Timeout there by Bordentown, well used. They have one timeout remaining in this last 3 minutes. If they want to put something together, now is definitely the time. We'll take a short break, and we'll be back in just a second when play resumes. Back in action here for the final 3 minutes of play. Josie Gray trying to beat this press coverage here, and Caitlin Connors still trying to manage it. Our camera's little blind spot in the corner. We lost her for a second. Pfeiffer down low to Zanecki. Takes it across the baseline, and that one's in for Zanecki. 49-38 in favor of the Bulldogs, and starting to pull away here, you could say. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. We were saying if Bordentown wants to put something together, it has to be now. And answer right back there for Wiley. So keeping them within reach, I would say. And like we said, anything could happen. Sam Pfeiffer to Vicky Zanecki. And a travel on Zanecki. So that will go back in the direction of Bordentown. But listen, you're down by 9. You have 2 minutes and 19 seconds. This is a lot of time remaining if you are a fan of the Scotties.
Oh, there's definitely a lot of time left. And, their press has been very stout all night. They are going to put as much pressure as they can, try and force as many turnovers as they can, kind of like they did in the first half in those few different.
Little pun with the stout.
Oh.
But yeah. A couple Bulldogs were fighting for that rebound amongst themselves, playing on the same team there. Polakowski down under, guarded heavily by Wiley, and careful for the foul there, but no call and probably no foul. So back to Bordentown, down by 9. Gotta have some points here if you're Bordentown. That one's no good. And back to Sam Pfeiffer. That's probably the biggest block of the game now.
For sure. Ellen
Metuchen,
Polakowski there.
yeah, Metuchen can control that. And a travel again.
This is just a little.
Can you believe this?
I don't even know what to say.
I'm not
going to say anything, actually. I'm going to try and keep my job.
Yeah,
here.
we'll stay. Oh, jeez. All right. So
I don't know about that.
Cutting to a little replay here very quickly.
I just don't even.
She dragged the step a little bit. I could see it being a travel.
I can see it.
According, legally, or not legally, but by the rules, yeah, that's probably a travel.
I think that's a weak one.
Regardless, we've had travels called both ways all game. It's definitely
It's
been
fair,
and
it's just a lot.
Madison Wiley has officially fouled out. Luke, you were telling me that. I wasn't positive what their call was because the refs were discussing. But yeah, Madison Wiley has officially fouled out of this game. That is huge for the Bulldogs. Now Polakowski will go straight to the line on the bonus after that foul in the Bulldogs' defensive zone. Polakowski sinks the first, and now they have hit 50. 10-point lead, 50-40, with a little over a minute to go here. Apologies if you're hearing some background noise from our mics. I think there's some maybe wrestling going on in the cafeteria.
Touching grapplers. But that right there, those were clutch free throws.
Yeah.
Taking the lead to 11.
Ella Polakowski getting the pair there. That is a huge pair because now 11-point lead with a minute to go. It becomes really, really tough if you're a Scotty fan, and your hopes of advancing in this NJSIAA tournament are dwindling a little bit. Some action we can't see with Sam Pfeiffer there, and not sure what it's in our blind spot, so I can't necessarily see what's happening. I think it's going to stay with Bordentown the way everyone's lined up.
The only thing if you're Metuchen you can't do is you just can't foul. You can't give them free opportunities.
Because you have 4 fouls too, so now
Exactly.
if you're going to a bonus, you don't want to give them that. So if they're going for a bucket, I would let them take it. And there's a 3-pointer again.
Keeps things interesting.
It definitely keeps things interesting, but you can't contest that too much because you have to be careful. You can't foul that and give them 3 shots at the line. Connors taking it up, and they're going to call that a foul against Connors, I think. So that'll go to the bonus. That'll go straight to the line, even though it's not a shooting foul. Remember, high school, it is a bonus. And now, like I'm saying, Brooklyn Prester, their second highest scorer, 4 fouls. Not that it matters too much with 30 seconds to play. It seems like we can kind of say that Metuchen has this one locked up now. Connors with the first, no good.
So, if Metuchen finishes it out here in the next 35 seconds, which seems pretty likely, they will be slated to play the winner of Monmouth Manasquan, which is actually going on right now.
Yeah, so that is most likely going to be in favor of Manasquan.
Yes.
We won't know that result yet, but we're
If
assuming.
Monmouth somehow pulls off the improbable,
Yeah.
they'll be playing at home again. The girls.
Yes. We will also be live for that one on the Bulldog Report if Monmouth manages to pull out the win, but lower seed gets the advantage and gets the home court. So
If not, we'll be in Manasquan, one of the toughest games, probably the toughest game of the year for the Bulldogs.
definitely the toughest game of the year. It's a 2 seed and it's a shore school. They're never tough to play, but it's 5-4. Bordentown stopping with their pressure 2-1, and the final buzzer will sound here from the Brainy Burrow Gym. 52-43 is your final score in favor of Metuchen, and Metuchen is advancing to the second round of the NJSIAA Tournament Central Jersey Group 2.
Unbelievable stuff. What a great performance. Here a little Jake down from the booth.
Yeah.
Unbelievable performance from the girls. Really special. Should be exciting to see them at Manasquan, maybe at home against Monmouth. We don't know, but
Perhaps.
should be really exciting. Maybe see a little bit of a push, a little bit of a run here for this girls basketball team. They look hot. They look good. Get that shooting in. Clean up the turnovers. They could go. Ceilings.
Yeah.
Ceilings almost a championship.
And you never know with this team, right?
You
Because this was a 20-4 team, Bordentown. Bordentown just did not go down very easy in the regular season. And, I mean, Luke, do you like this team for a run now?
Yeah, I'm very much liking this Bulldogs team. 33 points in that second half to get from 19 to 52.
Yeah.
Just incredible to watch that. Some great play, great all around. The ability to be unfazed by some of the calls,
Yeah.
and unfazed by some of the other play, and just keep applying that pressure. It was a very great performance, and I hope this could result in a long run for them.
Yeah, we really know it well.
Yeah, so, I mean, this, like I said, this was a monster half for Metuchen, and this really shows the resilience of this team. Like we said, Manasquan will most likely win, and this will conclude the broadcasting for basketball this year.
Thank you all for an unbelievable season.
Yeah,
It was really
so
special. This
for
will be-
the boys and girls, this was an unbelievable season. On behalf of our athletic director, Mr. John Cathcart, and the entire Bulldog Report crew, Ike Bush, myself, Jared Popek, Richard Ho, Sidney Gordeski, both of the Krumholtz brothers in with me today, Avner Chaplin and Jacob Lieber. For me, Ike, Jacob, Richard, this is kind of it for us. So very, very bittersweet. Our principal,
Great
Mr.
win.
Porowski,
Great win.
great win. But on behalf of our principal, Mr. Ed Porowski, our superintendent, Dr. Caputo, our athletic director, once again, Mr. Cathcart, I would like to personally say thank you to all of those people and all of you guys in the media club, because this is only my second season doing this, but I did basketball, I did football. I'm just very grateful for all the opportunities that I've been given here, and it was great to call some great girls basketball here, some great boys basketball, and we'll officially sign off. That will be a 52-43 win for Metuchen. They'll advance to the second round of the the NJSIAA tournament, and we will see you next time.
Go Dogs!